Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Q&A panel for Tournament Strategy Week here at OC University. Those of you who are new, OC University is basically this improvement-focused OSU hub where our goal is to sort of bridge that gap between top players and the general community. So in keeping with that theme, something we do here is these series of interviews where we dedicate 1 week to a specific topic and we do a bunch of individual interviews. And then at the end of the week, which is today, we do this Q&A panel where we bring multiple guests from the interviews together and answer your questions and just discuss the topic as a whole. So joining me today is Azer, Will Stetson, and Apraxia. Bubbleman could not join today. He's very busy with very high-end tournament matches that are coming up this weekend. Very characteristic. Yes, very characteristic of him. But yes, hello everyone. So for the most part, we're mostly going to be taking questions from the live chat that is in the Discord server. There's a text thread on the general channel, and for the most part, we will just be taking your questions from there. So if you see someone else's question that you would want asked, what we do is if you could react to it with a thumbs up emoji, that way we can keep track of everything. But yes, there are also a couple things that I think had different answers between you guys in your individual interviews that I want to bring up and see if we can elaborate the discussion a bit. And I think it was Will who said that determining the ban order is more important than determining the pick order. Is that accurate?
Yes.
Right.
I believe so.
Okay. And I think Apraxia especially might be of a different opinion. I think Azer also said, I'm not sure what Azer said actually. I think it was like either way. But
for ban or pick first?
Like, would you rather choose the ban order or the pick order?
That question, yeah.
I would definitely choose pick order. Like, no question.
Really?
Yeah, no questions asked. Pick order.
I wasn't like 100% in that direction personally.
Because I think, at least for me in my experience, like, you should always know what you're going to ban. And there is absolutely no way that if your strategy is good enough, there's no way that what you're going to ban is what the other team's going to ban. So you should always try and pick second so that you can have like last pick and just know what they're picking first. So
that's a fair opinion, but I don't know why. I mean, maybe it's just because I haven't been in like many open rank grand finals, but I feel like in earlier stages teams tend to troll a whole lot more. So if your opponent, like if you can opt to choose ban order and then your opponent bans something against you that you were already going to ban, then I feel like it's just like a mental boost that the other team might not know about, which is why I think it's important.
I think that's fair.
There's obviously value to banning. Like, obviously, if you get the choice, you're going to want to ban second over banning first. But I think the benefits of banning second do not outweigh the benefits of picking second. If that makes sense. That's how I see it.
Yeah. I mean, that is fair. But I mean, like, it's also kind of like what we were talking about, like me and Habib in ours, just because like, if you are able to, if like say each team's picking strategy is like perfect, I would never want to pick before tiebreaker, like upon further consideration, because it's so much pressure to win your own pick if the other team has already guaranteed tiebreaker. Like, and eventually, like, opponents can also like. I think once that much pressure is put on you to pick properly, like, you can definitely start to think irrationally.
I think this is really funny because we have the same like points in mind, but different reasoning entirely.
Yeah. That is true.
I don't know. It's just because I guess like me and Apraxia played together a decent amount, so I think we think very alike. But yeah, it's like the same reason. It's just like, yeah, you want the last pick because you want to have that pick. You want to have that pick pressure before tiebreaker.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, I'm also going into with the assumption that if the other team is picked first and picked intelligently, then they are already up.
Like
and
6-5
are like have secured themselves tiebreaker.
Right.
So I never want that to happen to begin with.
There's an interesting point that was made where if you pick first, then you don't right. I think this is what Will was saying also. Like, you don't have the mental pressure of needing to win your own pick to just secure tiebreaker. Like, assuming there were no breakpoints, which if there were breakpoints, then that's a separate strategical. You know what I mean. But assuming there were no breakpoints, then if you picked first, then you have confirmed tiebreaker, and it is now up to the other team to get up to that level as well. And the pressure to make sure you pick the right thing, but then also the pressure to like win on your own pick when you already had pressure deciding what to pick. I think the team that picked first does not have that pressure on them. So I don't know. It's actually opening my mind to the rationale behind picking first, but I still think second pick is better, just because the sort of response scheme, where you can respond to the other team's picks. But
yeah, there's definitely like benefits and drawbacks to both. I also think like if you've prepared adequately for the match, hopefully you don't have to get to tiebreaker. So in that case, my strategy becomes a bit less important. But if it does get to that point, then I think picking first is better.
I think like I was just thinking about it right now, and I think there is a good argument for picking first if you're really momentum based and like you want to have a guaranteed 1-0 lead, right? But I also think that's kind of the goal of picking second, is to try and break point as soon as possible, because in the first 3 picks, it's two of the picks are going to be your enemies, and that's kind of the point. Like you kind of want to break point as soon as possible, and kind of if that happens, it's a really huge momentum shift, assuming you win your own picks, compared to like if you were picking first and then you break point them,
Yeah, no, that's just very true.
I think the argument for banning second, where like if the opponent bans something that you were gonna ban, then it's just kind of a buff. That's sort of exacerbated in picking second, because throughout the entire match, and like there's only like 1 or 2 bans, but there's up to 6 picks per team. So throughout the entire match, every time your opponent picks something that you may have picked, then that is a free pick for you also. So
yeah, that's also true.
Yeah, that is true, but I also feel like this goes back to what I was saying before. This is obviously like maybe less of a strategy when it gets to like really high tournament play, but if you have made your team properly, then you should never worry about like how fucked you're gonna get on the opponent's pick, and like you should be able to win every point anyways. But that's like I think not as reliable a mentality as what Habib was saying.
There's another strategy that I know some really, really skilled players have used to their advantage, is you are just so good at the game that you don't even care what you pick. You just roll a random number, see what it lands on, and pick that map and just win it.
I do not agree with that entirely.
The cookies method.
He's done that quite a bit.
Yeah, especially in 1v1s. I think he does that.
Mm-hmm. That's so funny, actually. It's so BM, because if you win, then it's like, what the fuck?
I think sometimes I'm like, I think genuinely, whenever I roll a random number and end up picking that map, it takes away that pressure that you feel that like your pick is something that you're supposed to win.
Yeah, that's true.
So like, actually, sometimes if I want to take like if I'm really pressed on like not knowing what to pick, then just rolling a random map and just picking that can actually take the pressure off of me to just kind of be like YOLO, whatever happens. So
I kind of did that once in TOC 7 when I was playing Wolf, and
you did?
It was 6-5, and well, I didn't roll throughout the whole pool. I rolled, so neither of us picked HRs at all. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna roll HR and pick it.
Oh my god!
So I rolled HR1, literally aim map, and I won it, and we went to TV.
Oh my god! You won so barely on that tiebreaker. I remember that was so close. I think you like barely missed, or like barely didn't miss a pattern, like hit 50s. It was like black and white.
I remember you pointing that out. Yeah, you pointed that out to me like so many times.
I cannot believe you won that match, but dude,
that was deserved.
That was deserved. That's true.
And then we lost the next day to Poland, which was the worst feeling ever.
Oh,
So,
yeah.
Jeez.
That was so sad.
I cannot imagine rolling in like a high stage. Like, holy fuck. I do it in like group stage or like round of 32 all the time, just because it's like generally you can seed pretty highly if you like just look at the qualifiers pool a little bit. But like, god damn, in like semifinals or finals, I would not dream of rolling.
Yeah. There really is a mental, like, just calms you down.
Right.
You don't have to freak out about it.
Azer,
I guess so.
Azer, did you have any sort of inputs or like thoughts as well about the whole?
I have never rolled.
Oh, wait, really?
Actually, maybe I have, but it was like so early stage that like it probably wouldn't have mattered.
All right. Do you have thoughts
like in an actual like serious match? I have never rolled. No, I'm always
the other thing we would do occasionally is we would roll rosters.
Oh,
and just like everyone gets in lobby and then just like rolls, and whoever gets the highest or lowest number stays in the lobby.
Right.
If it's like something that like everyone's comfortable, like I remember Yuri Cup, like we had like the hidden AR8 team, just like 8 people come in the lobby, immediately roll, and then 4 leave. It's just like so stupid.
I know. In teams I've played in like serious tournaments, we definitely rolled for 4th player before because we sat on the 4th.
Oh, that's true.
But only ever for things like that. Like never like a full roster. Always like a 4th player, and it's usually always between people that can play it anyways, right? So
right.
All
right. So yeah, any last thoughts on I guess pick order, ban order in general?
I really think there's merits to both. Upon like hearing all the arguments, like I mean, there's definitely. I think it really ultimately depends on the matchup.
Right. Personally, okay. Can we get just like personal like final stances? Like personally, I think even though there is merit to picking first, I think the merits to picking second are just a little higher in my opinion. So whenever I get the chance, I would pick second.
I think in a later stage, picking second is probably better. In early stage, I think banning first, or I think banning second rather makes more sense.
Yeah, I'm just pick second only.
Yeah, second pick one.
That's just fair enough.
Yeah, there was one match where I wanted to like nerve abuse the other player. It was like NAT Grands against Fancy, where I wanted to pick hidden aim consistency as the first pick of the match. So I actually wanted first pick. So that was one of those rare cases where if you do want to pull that strategy, then picking first is the only way to do that. But yeah, it really depends.
Actually, hold on. So Apraxia, I forgot if it was you who like made that strategy, but I distinctly remember in OWC, every single time you guys would get first pick, you would pick Precision Hard Rock. Is that your thing?
I don't remember that. No,
but I don't remember that.
2018.
But that is a good strat. That is a good strat. Though.
That is an evil strategy. Jesus.
You would just put in like Toy and Fiery, and then they would just win. And then obviously it's first pick, so the other team is just like shaking in their boots.
Yeah. And also, like we love 6.5. Like that, just US is like, or especially back in the day, like we just love 6.5 compared to other countries. Yeah. So. Yeah.
You had like Idkey, Vaxay, Toy, Fiery, and that was really all you need. So
how do you not have that banned against you? Do you just have AR8 banned because you have Toy?
Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
There's other things to ban against them.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that's just fair.
All right. So I do want to talk a bit probably about nerves as well. And I guess like the mental side of tournament strategy. I think a lot of the individual interviews revolved around, pick strategies or roster formation and things like that. But especially, I think something that wasn't really touched on is like the mental side of things between 1v1s and team tournaments. Like you sort of have a different environment, like needing to, or I guess like whether or not you can rely on your teammates is one thing, but also like feeling like you need to perform for your teammates' sake rather than just sort of doing your own thing, and like your performance is not going to affect your teammates either, right? So any thoughts on I guess the differences between solo and team tournaments with like mental or nerve control, things like that?
I feel like I can like barely answer that because I don't play 1v1 tournaments most of the time.
I think 1v1 is just made for you to mental boom, and then team tournaments are there for you to actually try and control yourself and fake that you're mental booming, but you're actually not mental booming.
Oh,
What?
I don't know. Okay, whenever I play 1v1, I'm just like hella stressed, and there's like no one there to calm me down, so it's just me losing my mind the entire time. But in teams, you have to. I told B this in our interview. You have to fake it. You have to fake it sometimes when you
Right.
feel like shit, because you
Fake
can't
team morale.
kill team morale.
right.
You said it the other way around.
Oh, did I?
Oh, you did?
Yeah, you definitely did.
You said you have to pretend like you're mental booming when you're not.
Oh yeah. No. I said that wrong. Yeah, but I have to pretend you're not mental booming when you are.
That makes more sense.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know. For
That's
me,
so funny.
I think it's kind of the same. Like in 1v1s, it's if things go bad, it's only yourself. Like you only have yourself to blame. So it's a lot easier to, it's a lot easier to for things to go bad mentally. But I think when you're in a team tournament, I think you have other things to worry about. Not necessarily. I don't mean like blaming your teammates or anything, but like sometimes you can find, you can find some solace in like, well, we lost, but I did okay. Like I did good. It wasn't because of me.
That's true.
And then you can have more of a discussion in your head about like how to move on from that point and how to help your teammates, instead of like bashing yourself over it like you would in a 1v1, right? So
yeah.
I see you do not have much experience bottom scoring on your team.
I do.
Really?
I of course. They can both tell you all about that.
Yeah, and remember Conquest, yeah. Not on Canada, but yeah.
Sometimes there's no fourth player other than Azer.
You can peep my Twitter banner, my guy.
Oh my god. Wait, what is your Twitter banner?
I gotta check this.
Wait, because I know Azer, you mentioned that sometimes you would willingly fourth and bottom during OWC.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's what I do.
You willingly do it to tank the mental.
Yeah, so I have good mental. I'm not afraid to say that. I think I have, in relation to other OSU players anyways, like when it comes to tournament, I have like some of the best mental game, I think. So I kind of try to abuse that personally by, I talked about this in my interview, but anytime there's anything that involves like nerves or stress, I always try to tank as much of it as possible. So yes, in a situation like that where someone isn't sure and you need a fourth, then yeah, I'll go and fuck it.
That's respectable. I try to do the same thing, but sometimes people just don't let me because like occasionally I'll like the example I gave was like in a couple tournaments, we had DT players who were like, when they're good, they're really good, but when they're bad, they just like tend to mental boom. So I'll just be like, all right, well, I can't play this, but I know that it's better to like just put myself in and just take a 150k score rather than to put you in, maybe take a 250k score and then you just can't play for the rest of the match because you're just gonna be so mental boomed. And I'll do that occasionally, but it's not something that I like to do like all the time because occasionally it can actually matter. But yeah, I respect the strategy.
I do also want to mention, like, okay, so in a 1v1, wait, actually, how should I word this? So in a team tournament, you typically play around your strongest player or whoever's playing best, I feel like. And like, if you're really not playing well that day, then you can actually just bench the whole time. And also, okay, actually, is there strategy around like picking around the player on the other team that is the worst? And like trying to intentionally play the maps that they would go in for.
Yes.
I have been abused many times.
So yeah, do you guys want to talk about that?
It sucks. Fuck people who do that. But it does work. It's very valid as a strategy, but it's like fuck.
I can give a recent example.
Yeah.
In last year's World Cup, the strategy to win against Germany is to get Umbre in the lobby. I'm sorry, but it's true. It's true, and like it's literally true. Actually, it backfired one time, but a majority of the time, like we were just like, "Dang, Umbre loves inting." So I know that's really mean, but it's kind of just part of our game.
I remember. I actually remember that. You guys were like, yeah.
That's tough.
But I think it just sort of plays into the idea of you. What is it? You want to play around your strongest player, and you want to also play around their weakest player. So yeah, and that sometimes like can have some momentum like influence as well. Where if they okay, do you guys get like mental boomed if you like did really really well, but then like your teammates trolled you and then you end up losing the point? Like, do you get mental boomed for that or not really?
Not really.
Not in the slightest.
Yeah.
Oh, you do,
Maybe
Apraxia?
barely.
Okay.
No,
The
not
only
really. No,
time-
not really. Not
The
really.
only times that I actually get annoyed with that is if it's a map that requires practice, and then I just know the team didn't practice. And it's like,
Oh,
well, what the fuck? Like, what's the point? Why am I here if you're
that
not gonna
yeah,
like,
okay,
try?
I get that.
Anything
That's
else,
fair.
then no. Anything else, then it's like I just know it
Just-
happens.
I just get confused sometimes. Like I remember one map. It really didn't matter, but we were in quarterfinals versus Australia, and we played some DT map called Magica. I don't remember what year this was, either 20 or 19. But I was the only one who FC'd. It was like the easiest map in the game. I was like, and none of that. Jackson and Tony missed. I was like, what the fuck is going on? But I mean, we won the match anyway, so
You know, I
Doesn't matter.
remember United States versus Turkey in round of like 32
Oh yeah.
in 2019.
Oh yeah.
Yikes.
Apraxia was the only FC.
I
You
assessed.
SS'd,
bro. And we lost. It
We-
was so troll.
Oh my
Oh my
god.
So respectable.
Round of
Shout out
32
Turkey.
versus Turkey. Let me find this MP. let me link this in the live chat.
It was the all map, right? I actually remember
Yes,
that because
it was the first map. The first map
Also,
of the match.
Isn't that your only loss until grand finals or something?
We
like
lost. Okay, okay. Let me find this.
Turkey's just the best team. in
Uh,
that
we
league.
lost. No, we lost 1 point versus Turkey, 1 point versus the next team, and 1 point versus the next team. And that was it.
Yes.
We didn't lose
that?
anymore after
Okay.
that.
Different year, I think.
Yeah. So 2019, we dropped 1 point in round of 32 16 quarters, and then we swept semis, finals, and grand finals.
That's actually crazy. What the
Oh, yeah.
fuck?
Wow, you really had your
I
low
forgot
start.
about
You
that.
literally Habib, Toy, and Fiery missing. That is just like what the frick. It's 5 stars.
Dude. Well, actually, my miss didn't make the difference, but
That
whatever.
is a Hippo Cup vibes moment. Round of 32.
Yeah, I
just
assessed. I don't
non-FCs.
care. I
Yeah,
don't
nice
care.
job,
Y'all are bad. Y'all are bad as fuck.
Let's go.
Jeez.
Such an easy map too. Oh my god.
So easy.
But I think just whenever like a teammate does bad or whatever, like I don't think there's any point in contributing to any of the mental booming or any of the nerf part of it. They're probably already beating themselves over it. Like there's literally nothing that you should do about it
Yeah.
Right.
other than
No.
just moving on, or else you're like actively just being harmful to your team environment. And I mean, that's
Oh, yeah.
a pretty important thing.
Yeah, I should also mention to what I was saying before about the only time a mental boom is if the other team doesn't practice a map they should have, or if the team doesn't practice rather, you know what I mean.
Right.
Not publicly, like just to myself. I'm just like, what the fuck? Because
Yeah.
like I don't want to flame. I'll flame after the match because I'll be like, come on, this can't happen. But like during the match, absolutely not, because it's always recoverable until it's
Right.
not. Also, if people no show and then don't care, then I'll be mad. But other than that, I don't tend to mental boom.
Oh, speaking of which, okay, so you guys are all NA time zone, American time zone. You guys have strategies for either morning matches for one, but also like late night matches? Like what you guys personally do?
Yes, schedule cock. No, I'm kidding. Take melatonin and go to bed.
Yeah, that's
Honestly.
pretty much what I said too. Is just be responsible. Like, there's no real like. The only strategy is just make sure you're prepared in any way possible, whether that be like go to bed or like set an alarm. Actually, it's probably just involves both. But yeah. But the actual optimal strategy is try to reschedule.
Yeah, not happening.
No. This is if you have to play a 3 a.m. match.
Well, the
Like,
thing
you
is,
don't want
if you're NA and you're playing in global tournaments, especially if you're West Coast, it's kind of expected that you have to play at terrible times. Like,
Yeah.
I think it just requires you to be available at those times no matter what. Like, you look at some of the top level teams in like Course Ace, I guess, recently, where it's just like everyone is like had 3 NA, 3 EU, some Australians, and maybe a Korean in there, and it's literally just a global team, and you have to play at
Gambit.
like 14 to 15 UTC, and so the West Coast players just have to play at 7 in the morning, and like they all sign up to those teams ready to do that, and they did like several times. They played all of the grand finals and stuff and the final stages at 7 in the morning, literally. So I mean, I think you just have to be prepared for that. I think by now everyone is, but
Right.
God bless PST gamers. Jesus Christ.
True. Dude, I also don't understand how like it's only like these matches are assigned with the assumption that like you're gonna be playing at shit times, but like I feel like USA players are just easier to reschedule with just at any juncture. Like it doesn't really matter the context of the tournament. I feel like most US players, as long as they're not literally out of the house, will just like reschedule. But EU, that just does not happen because dinner time is important. Like I just don't get it.
Oh my god!
I'll eat at midnight. I don't give a shit, man. Like, it just doesn't matter to me.
Dinner time, bro. We cannot play at 19 UTC. That is dinner time.
I don't get it.
Like, are you kidding me, man? That is hilarious. I love that. I love that combo. I don't know if y'all know what I'm talking about. It's Rising Nations, where US was playing France, and Ari was talking to the Poon, and the Poon just would not reschedule the 19 UTC because it was dinner time.
Dude, I don't get it.
It's every just tournament. So I mean, okay, you do get it, but like just family culture, obviously. But I think I remember like in that same match that the Poon and Ari were trying to reschedule, and then I think the Poon suggested like 17 or something, and then Ari was like, "That's lunchtime."
Someone's saying this is even worse with Asian players. I disagree. I feel like Asian players are tanks usually.
Well, the thing with Asian players is that their natural like time slot is at like night for them, like after everything. Like the real thing with Asian players is like being allowed to be on their computer like past midnight, like by their parents and stuff like that.
Yeah, and I feel like a lot of the times, at least like from what I've experienced, most Asian players will try and push that boundary,
right?
And like they'll play at like 16 or 17, even though it's like 2 or 3 a.m.
They'll just play until their parent notices or something.
Yeah. Like Taiwan and 3WC, like I would I'd rather be playing at like 3, 4, 5 UTC, but Taiwan wants to play at 17.
Oh,
it's like so late for them.
That's
it's like
crazy.
It's like what? Like what the hell? I mean, I guess noon isn't that bad for me. So
yeah, I mean, I'd say it's like to USA's benefit in that situation. But I mean, I just think it's respectable. Respect Asia, disrespect Europe, basically.
Oh my god,
dinner time is irrelevant.
I agree.
Yeah, it's actually impressive how like some Asian players would not play at like noon their time because it's too early, or like 1 p.m. their time.
I know.
Too early.
As bad.
They would rather play at 1 a.m.
I mean, yeah, I don't get it.
So yeah, just
it's
like
where every country got their own like scheduling quirks that suck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You want to talk about Australia then, since we're on the topic? How do they deal with it?
Jordan a Bear? Yeah, that guy. Yeah. Honestly, they like playing at 3, which I like. They like playing at 3.
UTC?
Yeah, they like playing at 3 a lot.
Okay, so that's like 1 p.m. for them usually, 2 p.m.
Yeah. But if not, like they don't want to play past 14, like pretty much period, at all. Because it's so late for them.
Right.
14 is when for Australia?
It's like 1 a.m. Midnight 1 a.m.
I mean, that is which one of Australia's 5 time zones?
Yeah.
That's true. Yeah, I mean, like, I do think 1 a.m. is like a little bit late, and like I can understand not wanting to play like super late like that. However, like 9 p.m. like, come on, man, like you can play Osu, please.
Yeah, 14 is 1 a.m. in AEST. So like 15 is 2 a.m. Like 2 a.m. is kind of, it's really pushing it, I would say.
Yeah, that's at the point where it's like I cannot flame for not wanting to play at 2 a.m.
Right.
Yeah, that's.
So there's this tournament called Suiji, which is basically 4v4 teams of 8, and teams are entirely random, or effectively random, based on like just everyone who signed up. And that tournament ends up with like the most random country teams that you'll ever see. Like every single team pretty much. Like it is a blessing if there's only like 3 time zones in a team. Because usually sometimes like all 8 players have different time zones. And it is very hard to schedule. Like specifically on the registration form, it's written like especially if you have an extreme time zone like Australia or West Coast America, then you are going to have bad match times for every single match, and you like sign up like knowing that. So
yeah, I still think that the schedule blacklist should be more rigorously enforced for Suiji, to be completely honest with you.
Or you can just be Apraxia and not play that tournament. Thoughts?
That's so true.
Bad tournament, yes, very bad.
That is also.
Do not play Suiji. That's my advice.
That is very fair. But I feel like if everyone had that mentality, then there would be no problems.
True.
And unfortunately, it's not the case.
There would be no bad Suiji schedules if they didn't exist at all. Nobody played the tournament.
Should just be an NA tournament, to be honest.
I played Suiji once, and then one of my teammates got restricted before we started, and then we didn't play.
Oh no!
No, who was it?
I forgot.
I remember that like
a couple of years ago.
Oh, since this is something that we haven't talked about in any of the interviews, do you want to talk about draft tournament strategies?
Sure.
Oh gosh.
Okay.
Really quick before that, I just want to say like, Europe, I don't hate you. You know, you just have schedule privilege. That's all I want to say.
Yeah. I think I sounded very, very harsh.
We were a little harsh there.
Disrespect Europe.
Yeah.
But as long as you acknowledge your privilege, then we're good.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
There you go. Yeah.
So to briefly explain how draft tournaments work is you sign up individually, and then the hosts of the tournament select 8 team captains to then meet up at the same time and pick one by one. Like you draft players onto your team. So let's say like the 4 of us are the captains for a smaller draft tournament. Then like I would pick someone from the sign up form, and then from the sign up list, and then Apraxia would pick someone from whoever's left, and then Will would pick someone, and then Azer would pick someone, and then usually it goes back as well. So like snake draft it's called. So then Azer would pick again, and then Will, Apraxia, me, and then we just keep doing that until we all have 8 players on our team, including ourselves. And there might be excess signups, and in that case, there might either be a lower tier of tournament for the leftovers, basically, or those players just would not end up in the tournament. So that's basically how draft tournaments work. And yeah, do you guys want to elaborate on drafting strategies or like scouting for players, like balancing your team with the fact in mind that like you, like especially towards the end of the draft when there aren't as many players left, like you might not be able to find someone for a specific skill set. Like how do you strategize around that?
The strategy is to bribe AJT.
True.
To tell you strategy.
Tell me that story, please.
I mean, like it's not actually a strategy. I just remember Kanyo Cup, where I think it was him. It wasn't it because Alden asked him to. Habib, you know this better than I do.
That story. Oh my god. So when you're a player in those draft tournaments, like you're not a captain and you want to be drafted onto a specific team, it helps a lot to like make yourself seem unattractive to all the other captains, except like privately like talk to one of the captains and like strategize that like I'm not actually rusty, I'm not actually washed up, you should put me on your team. So once upon a time, Kanye Cup, and so one of my friends, Alden, he wanted me to pick him, and so he had this elaborate scheme to like seem like he was washed up. And he was like, oh, I'm not playing any tournaments. Like, I think he said his tablet broke. That was it. And he posted a picture online of like a tablet with like a hole in it. I think he got it from Google Images. But anyway, he was like, yeah, I'm not playing this game anymore. And like the day before, so there was a separate tournament named TED Tournament that Alden and I were making a team with other players. And Will was actually on that team also. But anyway, we were recruiting because like signups for TED Tournament were like during the draft tournament, like draft phase. And so I was like, okay, we should make sure that we don't recruit people until after Connie Cup draft, because then people are going to know that Alden is actually playing Osu. So silly little Alden DM'd AJT, who's another player. And he was like, hey, do you want to play TED Tournament with me? And then I was like, oh no, Alden, what have you done? And so the draft comes, and so AJT was not a captain, but Yolkspie was a captain in that tournament. So even though Alden's elaborate ruse to make it seem like he was actually washed up and that no one should pick him, so AJT caught on, and Yolkspie. So Yolkspie didn't draft Alden. Yolkspie drafted AJT, and then AJT was like, "Hey, Yolkspie, you should pick Alden. He's actually playing the game. He's not washed." And because of the strategy, Alden told me that like I should pick other players first that are probably more likely to get taken, because no one's going to pick Alden if they think he's not playing the game. So I waited a couple like rounds in, or like picks in, to pick Alden, and then Yolkspie picks Alden, I think second or third, and I was like,
it was second.
Oh, it was second. Oh my god! I think Alden told me like I would be safe to pick him like fifth, because like no one was gonna pick him. I was like, okay, that is a good idea, and yeah, that was very sad. They ended up winning. That match was so sad. I think they beat us on tiebreaker in the grand finals, and I was like, you know what, just move on. I was so sad. This is another second place.
That's deserved. That's deserved as hell,
dude. Yeah. Alden, okay. Alden did not deserve that. Dude, actually 2019 I had so many second places on like grand finals tiebreaker. I had like 4 or 5. That was so sad.
Oh my god.
Yeah. Anyway, that's the story.
I mean, like the actual, when I was saying though about AJT, yeah, obviously it's funny that like Khabib got screwed because AJT saw through the Alden gambit.
The Alden gambit.
But he actually is just very knowledgeable about players, so he's pretty good to ask about like you know, how to draft properly.
Yeah, I think people often ask AJT to do the draft for them. Like, let's say I'm a captain for a draft tournament, but I have no idea who to pick. And I'll be like, hey, AJT, you want to help me out in this draft? I think there was one Connie Cup where like over half the teams were actually just drafted by AJT.
Yeah, I'm convinced that he just has like an entire hard drive of just like tournament MPs and player stats. He has the like the Pokedex for Osu.
Yes, he's actually the Pokedex. That's what people would call him too. But yeah, anyway, draft strategies in a more general sense, like who should you prioritize first and things like that. Anyone?
And I don't really answer much because I've only done like 1 or 2 draft tourneys, so I don't have that much experience.
I think there's also a strategy around not drafting people that are actually cheaters. Apraxia?
I agree. Apraxia, would you care to inquire?
This is gonna come up sooner or later. Jesus Christ. Yeah, so Kanyu Cup 1, or I don't even know, it doesn't even matter. You know, we got Mr. Was it who was first? I don't even remember who was first now.
It was Flavin and Krez, right?
Oh, Flavin was first.
Krez wasn't the cheater.
Well, he got banned though.
Yeah, he was multi-counting or something. Plus he's unbanned, so
no, it doesn't count now. But I'm saying like in context of the tournament.
Yeah.
Wait, was Rushy ever in Kanyu Cup or no? No, he wasn't.
He got banned from SST.
Right.
Remember when he cheated fucking flashlight?
Flashlight.
Yeah.
I think we all very much remember that.
Yes.
Fantastic memory.
But he didn't even get banned for that. He got banned for some really old time warp score, but that's besides the point.
yeah, so I don't even remember why I drafted Flavin. I think someone told me to, literally. I listened to like I'm not sure who it was. I remember Dada helped me out one year, but I don't think it was that year. Maybe it was AJT actually.
Oh my god!
It all comes back to AJT.
I'm not really sure, so don't quote me on that. But yeah, I ended up drafting Flavin. And he decided that he really wanted to win Konyo Cup, so he just started FCing every map.
Only the ones he was in for. He wasn't actually in for every map, though. Also,
he wasn't in for every map. Yeah, he needed to make it seem like he wasn't good at everything, right? So he'd only come in and FC the maps that he was playing.
The Hoshinomori Gambit.
Yeah. So Flavin did that. That was really, really cool, and it was also weird because he would when he was doing that. I guess he felt the guilt, so he wouldn't voice call at all. He just wanted to focus on cheating.
Oh my god.
And I remember there was a map. We had this 6.5 map. And his cheats didn't work properly. So he was just full missing on the screen. And there was an abort. And then he loaded his cheats correctly and then FC'd the map right after.
Oh my god. Bro.
Okay, so that's the first Konyo Cup experience of me drafting a cheater. And then after that, I drafted good man Bad Graph.
Oh, it was Bad Graph.
Yeah.
So he was supposed to be the next hidden prodigy. He was so good. He was so good at hidden and
he was until he got banned.
all these tech maps, right? But yeah, he was just cheating, and there was so much drama behind it. We were trying to get him to live play. The host, me, even was trying to get him to live play, and he actually live played one of the matches. And when he did that, he got sub 400k on every map.
Yo, beast.
Yeah, and then he got banned shortly after. I think he got banned from the ban wave. So
right.
Yeah, he did. That's what happened with Hoshinomori too. He didn't get ban waved, but I remember during Suiji 2020, yes, I think so.
Right.
They staged a fake abort. So his replay that he created was nulled essentially because he was like, "Oh fuck, I have to actually play this now." He went from FCing every map to drop 200k on Emerald Sword or something like that. So funny. And then he was like, "Well, fuck." Oh no. Wait, no, that's not what happened. They staged the fake abort because someone just disconnected 20 seconds in or something like that. And then all of a sudden he immediately left. He logged off host. He was like, "Oh yeah, Peruvian internet, sorry." And then just didn't play. And then came back and then FC'd every other map except for Tiebreaker.
Oh my god.
Oh god.
Nice. Yeah. Moral of the story: don't cheat in tournaments.
Yeah, basically don't.
The punishment is way harsher too, cheating in tournaments versus in solo. So.
As it should be.
But yeah.
I mean, it's what, you're banned for a year from tournaments, right?
No, that's if you cheat normally.
Yeah.
Oh fuck! Right. It's permaban, right?
Yeah, if you cheat in tournament, I think you're just gone.
No.
Which is just
Bad Graph is unrestricted. Flavin's unrestricted. So.
No, I mean from tournaments.
Oh yeah. So when you do get unrestricted, you're never allowed to play tournaments again.
Yeah, which honestly, that's all that matters.
Yeah, and if you had badges, Flavin I think had 3 or 4, and they're all gone now. So you get all your badges removed, even if those were legit.
Yeah, it is only for badge tournaments, but I think any tournament host with respect would just not allow you to play.
Oh.
Yeah, but there's just no. I feel like there's barely any unbadged tournaments now. Well, yeah. If they are, they're these gimmick tournaments that are rank restricted, and I can't play in them, even though they look super cool to play in.
I know.
Yeah. Goodness.
Let's go, Apraxia.
Stop rank restricting tournaments.
I know.
It must be so tough for you guys. That's so unlucky. I'm sorry.
Dude, Hippo Cup, no BWS though. You guys want to play?
Wait, what?
Oh, you're not BWSing it?
No.
Oh.
Wait, I can play Hippo Cup?
Yeah.
Do you want to play Hippo Cup, Apraxia?
What the? When is Hippo Cup?
It's in
it's in February.
February, March.
I'm probably not gonna play, but that sounds funny though.
Frank.
I wonder if people will ask.
We'll ask you to play.
Yeah, probably not because I did say I would quit. So.
Oh, people will definitely ask. I'll ask you. I'm the host. You want to make a team?
What?
I quit long ago, and people are asking me about random Canadian tourneys I never heard of.
Oh my god.
Nice.
Wait, so it's not rank restricted or not?
It is
activated?
like 3. It's just not BWS.
Oh, okay. So it is
What's
still
the rank?
restricted.
Yeah.
It's
I think it's like
300
300.
Oh,
I need to start forming my team now.
Oh no.
Yes.
hey guys, you want to play Hippo Cup?
Hey guys. Hey, I'll play. I'm
Alright.
like 300.
the question is, what rank is Monko?
Ooh,
No, he's really high now.
Oh,
No,
man.
Damn it!
no,
He's
top 50.
140. God.
Oh wait, what? Oh, I'm an idiot.
Yeah.
Never mind.
Dude,
Yeah, but
that guy
he's-
just
he's
farms
been
for
farming.
fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, true.
He's just
Alright,
like,
He's like,
lol.
I'm bored. I'm gonna get top 100.
Okay. Habib, we didn't even talk about draft strategy that entire time.
Well,
Like what?
we kind of did a little bit.
AJT. Ask AJT.
Okay.
That's your strategy.
The extent of it was like Azer said that he doesn't have experience with it, and then
I
well,
have nothing to contribute.
there was a moral of the story to not draft cheaters though.
Yeah, well, the actual strategy, like, I'll go through, like, if I was to be a captain, or like, even if I just wanted to do it for fun, I would just go through like previous tournaments of the last year and just like scrape MP links and just like look at to see who's like actually good at shit, and then be like, okay, I'll categorize players here as like all rounder or speed or consistency or something like that, or like hidden. Occasion hidden is one that like you really need to draft a good hidden player early, I think, especially for
So-
like late game stuff.
I actually put in a lot of work for Kanyo Cup draft. And if you want to see what I mean, I'll show you what I mean.
Oh, some people make like player tier lists.
Yeah,
That's
I had a
exactly what I
spreadsheet.
did. I
Yeah, I had
posted in the
something like
live
this.
chat. Yeah, I made a spreadsheet based off how good I thought people were, and then I also put like what skill sets I thought they were good at. And
What?
some of the funny, like one of the funniest things to look at here is I'm a fancy lad in D.
Yeah, I was about to say that. Like, what?
Yeah, he
And
was-
Nissan D, what?
Oh wait, or is that Nissan? Or is
Yeah,
that
Nistya. No, that's
Oh.
Nissan.
Damn, dude, times changed since back
Yeah.
then. Like,
Is this
really.
2019?
I think so.
Yeah,
Oh man.
pretty sure.
Oh yeah, it must
Yeah.
be because Fancy that was captain.
Fancy was captain, yeah, like later on. But no, I spent a considerable amount of time, mainly with Kanyo, like because Kanyo and I were both planning our own draft. He was like planning the Division 2 or whatever draft, and I was planning Division 1 draft, so we were planning together. This is when we like talked all the time. And yeah, I would just like, basically like my strategy is like you try and get someone from the S or SS tier as your first pick, right? Like you just want a solid first player, and then you just start filling based off what skill sets you need to get for your team. So
I think one thing to keep in mind for draft tournaments is that it's very hard to actually get a balanced roster of 4 players for everything, or sometimes even 3 players. So let's say you have 3 good speed players and 2 good like low AR or like reading players. Then you actually, in my opinion, if it's coming down to the last pick, you would rather finalize a very solid 4-man for speed rather than have like 3 players for speed and 3 players for reading. So
Yeah, because you can ban reading pretty effectively
Yeah.
from tournaments like that.
you might actually be better off having some sort of specialization in your team rather than just be like, I don't know, I guess diluted across all skills.
Yeah, an all-rounder team for a tournament like this really doesn't work, I don't think.
It's very hard to do. I think if you have very first pick, then you can sometimes get like really, really good options. Because like if you're like the very first pick of the tournament, then you can typically just pick. Dude, there was one year. What year was it? It was some Kanyu Cup, but like, oh no, it was actually the same one with like Yoxpai picking AGT, because Yoxpai had first pick. No, Yoxpai had second pick, but first pick trolled, and so Yoxpai ended up getting AGT, and then like I think everyone
No,
gave
he
up
had
after that.
third pick. Two
Wait,
people trolled.
Oh wait, that's right.
I remember this draft very well. I don't
Yeah.
know why.
Yoxpai had 3rd pick, and he was not supposed to get AJTA, like, on God, but yeah.
Yeah, I think it was because someone drafted actually no, I just don't remember.
Yeah.
I'm wrong.
But yeah, point is, I think sometimes you just have to get lucky, and like the draft order is completely random also, so yeah.
Yeah, you really just need to plan for every eventuality if you really want to try hard in draft tournaments. But it's a lot of work if you're like really going hard.
Such an absurd amount of work. It's not worth it unless like you're bored as hell.
This screenshot, yeah, really. This screenshot, it seems like it must have taken like 3 or 4 hours to make the spreadsheet.
At least.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, another thing is when you sign up for draft tournaments, you do put in a little description of your skill set and what mods you're good at. So, and that is publicly available for the captains. So,
yeah, that would make it a bit less work.
Personally, I don't do player like strategy because like 80% of the players are not even going to be available to you by the time you're considering them. So I usually don't put in the effort to like go through the signups. I think I did, but like once the first time I was captain, but then after that I was like, I'm just gonna have like 3 or 4 high priority players in mind, and then like when it comes down to like the last few picks, there aren't going to be too many players either, and you have a lot of downtime also when you're picking. So usually you have time to like look at your current team, like analyze what they're already good at and what you're missing, and then go through the the remaining signups and go through their profiles and feel out who you think might be a good pick. So yes, that is my strategy usually for draft tournaments. Any other?
Right, I think we've exhausted this topic.
Yeah, I think we have. That was good though. I'm glad we touched on it because I think that is one of those kinds of tournaments that actually takes more strategy than like a different kind of strategy. But
yeah, those are my favorite kinds.
Yes, we need more tournaments like that. Anything else that we need more tournaments of? Apraxia accuracy tournaments, accuracy win condition.
Yes.
Hey!
Yes,
I would love to tell you, Apraxia. There's one coming up in like a month.
Dab,
and it's open rank. Yeah, well, no, it's not Dab, but it's.
No, I just want Seth to come back.
It's KFC. K's a finesse cup or something like that. It's a accuracy based tournament. I'm pooling for it. You should play.
What is the team size?
It's open rank. It's 2v2 teams of 3, I believe.
Damn.
It's basically Dab.
That sounds pretty fun.
You should play.
No, I quit, bro.
Oh no.
But
unlucky.
Yeah,
I just wish those tournaments were more around when we were.
I know, dude. I would just get free badges.
But still like my favorite tournament was Dab, I think, after all these years, just because the format was so much fun.
Yeah, 2v2 accuracy. It was actually teams of 2. Dab. Dab standard for duo accuracy battles. I came up with that name, by the way.
I should probably said that long ago. But yeah, I mean, like, I think you two know that I always just play for accuracy, right? I guess maybe Will does in solo play as well, but like, I don't know. I think it's just a much more accurate like metric of how good a player is to me. Like, I consider it to be the superior way of doing things. Of course, like, it's not actually true, and like I understand like score needs to happen and stuff, but like it's nice to actually have a tournament that rewards that, because very often you'll just find a player that is like there are situations that can happen and have happened to me so many fucking times where you'll have like the best accuracy in the lobby by a landslide, but you can still get last place because you missed like one small.
It's so true.
Like, it's just so punishing for no reason, right? But like they get like 36 more hundreds than you, and they don't really get punished for that. So like, I don't know. I like accuracy tournaments a lot because they reward that. So you get a very different landscape of like who is good, you know, like who you need to watch out for.
Yeah.
And unironically, I think that like if you consider a tournament, like the goal of a tournament as like the better performing player should win, I think accuracy is a more accurate representation of like the overall performance that player had on the map, rather than score, which is combo oriented and I guess, able to be cheesed, you can't cheese accuracy. Like, you really just can't. So, yeah, like, unironically, if people just, like, switch to just using accuracy scoring rather than score v2 as, like, the main mode of scoring, like, actually, I think no one would complain. Unless you're
That's
bad.
I'd have
not
like
true.
18
That's not
badges.
true.
No, so many people would complain.
Well, no, all of the people who don't have good accuracy would complain.
Well,
Yeah, I think actually the majority of tournament players that are like, not as good at, yeah, it's like the majority of players are not playing for accuracy to begin with in tournaments.
Yeah, I think the whole
So-
point is because it's scoring based, but if it was accuracy based, then your focus would be a lot different. So, honestly, okay, this voice call is just like accuracy player convention, so maybe
Yeah, that's
we're a little biased, but yeah.
I mean, there's merits to having like aim be the main metric too. Anything that isn't like, I mean, like once you get into a higher star rating, if you can't aim the map, like you just won't be able to play it anyways. So like, I don't know. I think for harder pools, it makes sense to have it aim based, at least a little bit.
Man, and if you can't aim, then you drop back anyway. So
Yeah,
if it, like,
yeah,
well, whatever. I think that's a separate topic. But I do want to ask for beginner tips that you guys have for tournament strategy as a whole. Like those of you getting into, I know something that's actually very common, and I think something we should reassure to newer tournament players is that, like, I think everyone gets nervous in their first tournaments. So yeah,
I've been playing tournaments for 3 years and I still shake like a freaking madman every match I play. So,
but yeah, do you guys have any tips for, I guess, getting better at tournaments as a whole as a beginner?
I started at a different time period, so I can't answer this.
does this mean I have to be the one to answer
Go
it?
Will.
Oh
Yep.
gosh.
I
Go.
think so.
Oh goodness.
I mean, I could tell you about how it was like in like 2013, but that's not relevant at all anymore.
I mean, like what I did was I literally just like tried to play a lot of tournaments at the start.
Yeah.
Like obviously, like schedule hell is a very common term for most tournament players, but it's really true. Like I think at my peak, I think I was in like 8 tournaments at once or something like that. And during that period of time, I did get a whole lot better at a whole lot of things. Specifically, like after, if you're playing your 7th match of the day, you're really just not nervous anymore. Like
Yeah.
it's impossible to feel the same nerves that you had playing like map 1 of the day.
Oh, I used to actually, so when I had multiple matches, okay, if I had like a grand finals or something that day, and I also had like a random round of 32, I would try to schedule the round of 32 match earlier in the day, like before the grand finals, to sort of have like
definitely
one match down to like kill your nerves.
Yeah, I would always want to pick the easier match first, just because it's like, it's a bit of a warm up for the mental. Oh man, that's a screenshot. Oh my
what? Oh, Apraxia, your
Apraxia's
schedule.
match schedule.
This is when I had no life.
Oh man,
that is tough.
This is this was like apparently the norm for me back in like 2018 and 19.
Yes,
so
it was
me too.
For a lot of us, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You literally had a schedule like channel in Rubber Conquest, and you would do all of our schedules.
Yes.
I can't believe you did that. Holy crap.
Well, whenever,
that's
if I was
crazy.
making my own schedule, it's not that much to make everyone else's also, because I would just copy it. But yeah, still good times. Also, group stage, man, group stage is not a thing anymore, though. I think for the most part.
I would say the best thing for new players is, like Will said, is to play a bunch, because eventually you'll get over the fact that you're playing a tournament and that you're nervous because you've done it so many times and you just get like sick of losing. So,
yeah, essentially, yes, that's what happened. For like the first year I played, I did not win any tournaments. I just like got a lot of experience playing them.
Yeah. And also, I forgot what I was gonna say. God damn it. Had something to do with nerves though. But I did tell Habib that like you can try and use nerves to your advantage.
Oh, that's true. Like, adrenaline buff.
Like if you're a speed player like me, then adrenaline like makes you faster. So
yeah, I do this. I try my best to channel my nerves in my left hand so that I can actually stream 180 BPM.
Let's go.
But I guess another thing is to try and figure out like what you're underperforming at during your first round of tournaments, I guess. Because like I think it becomes very like once you first start, it becomes very apparent what you're bad at during tournaments. Because once you're nervous all the time, like if you have anything that you're even moderately weak on, you will just die in tournaments if you're nervous. So then you could sort of start to work on that. Like the first thing for me was like working on like just no mod reading in general. I just couldn't do.
Yeah, you
like,
were hidden only.
Played hidden. I played hidden for so long that I was just like, well, I guess it's time to, sort of work on this. So I literally went in and only played like no mod 1 and 2 for like 2 weeks in solo play until I could read no mod again, and then eventually moved to like alt and tech.
All right. Yeah, I think your earlier days in playing tournaments, because in solo you sometimes like don't even realize that certain kinds of maps exist in the first place, and those things might be very commonplace in tournaments as well. Like you might think that DT is really only something used on like conventional maps, and then you get into tournaments and you see like random weird dense finger control tech DT sometimes, and you're like, what?
Like Kirby mix maps.
Yeah,
DT,
like what is
happening?
Maps. Like AR7 DT. And I think your earlier days as a tournament player should be used as sort of self-diagnosis in a sense to figure out exactly what you need to work on. And then, yeah, basically like Will said, but over time, you will end up like as you improve at those skills that used to be your weakness, like make sure you like reassess yourself every now and then. And like if your weakness used to be like double time speed, but then now you've practiced that enough and now your new weakness is hard rock or like precision, something like that, for example, then you need to make sure you're aware of that and keep shifting your priorities. Yeah, hopefully that makes sense.
Yeah. Additionally, playing 1v1 tournaments is so helpful in the first stage because then you're forced to play everything. So it's really like
that's true.
You can determine your weaknesses much more easily than in like a team tournament. Like say like when I started tournaments at first, like the first few tournaments I played were all team tournaments. So I was already deemed hidden slave. So I didn't really play anything else, which was fine. But like, yeah, I didn't really learn anything about myself as a player until I had to play a couple 1v1 tournaments. I was like, oh, wait, I'm actually kind of a one trick. So I should like practice a bit more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think matchmaking, like we have access to matchmaking now, so you can go play random people just like literally whenever you want. You can just go in that server. There's definitely still people who play in there. You can just even ask random people in that server, be like, hey, do you want to play sometime? If you can't find anyone, right? And then you can try out all these different map pools, and figure out what you're good about at. So,
yeah,
I will say the bot does need a little bit of work because you still can't choose your pool. So occasionally you'll just get like a 2015 pool, which is like just no longer relevant, and you'll just be playing like kind of not even that they're bad maps, but like nothing was hard enough, and it was incredibly unbalanced. So like you're not really gonna. In my opinion, it's better to go into that server, like look at people and say, hey, do you want to play a tournament? Play a match on this pool, and then like go through the sheet and find one that's like a bit more relevant to today's times. But still, yes, the concept is very good, and it's like a tool that a lot of us I don't think really had access to when we were like getting into tournaments.
And to those who don't know what we're talking about, I think you can just Google OSU matchmaking, and it is so it's the first result. It's oma.hwc.hr, and that is the website, and there's a Discord server there as well. But one thing I want to mention also is that like so when you're in team tournaments, so Will mentioned that like playing 1v1s helps you like focus more on your weaknesses. I think in team tournaments, even if you know you're not going to be in for a certain map, if you want to get better as a tournament player, you might want to practice those maps anyway that you know you're not going to be in for, just for the sake of practice. And then maybe gradually you'll improve throughout the weeks, and you might actually be able to go in for one of those maps. So
yes. I agree. Yeah, tournament pools in general are just like a great resource for practicing. Like that was another thing I was going to say is like look at previous tournament pools if you can, because most of the time they're not like that troll. Like you can probably find a lot of good maps that will help you focus on your weaknesses.
Right, I agree. So okay, one thing that I want to sort of discuss for a bit before we wrap up is I guess tournament / like matchmaking elo becoming the main ranking system when integrated into OSU Laser. Do you guys Okay, I guess how do you guys think that should work as like a brainstorming session? If anyone has thoughts on that.
I don't know if it should be the main ranking system, but I do agree that it should be a leaderboard.
I think my take on this is going to be a little bit hot, so you go.
Right.
Okay. I was just gonna say, like, I think it's impossible to manage properly because you need to always be having like all these pool updates. You know, people are gonna, if there's like no frequent updates to it and people are just all playing the same pools or whatever, it's gonna get so stale and boring. You know, it's just like super boring and tedious to just play like random 1v1s with people just to gain your rank. You know, I don't know. It just feels like the game will die that way.
I mean, you've already kind of seen that with matchmaking itself, right? Like every time, because it's not the first time we get matchmaking, and then eventually it kind of just dies out. You know, like it's active for like a week or two, and then regardless of how good the system is, or maybe it has flaws or whatever, but that doesn't even matter. It just ends up dying like pretty quickly.
Yeah, and it's a downward spiral
not like
too.
Dying fully, but like enough that it's noticeable that like, hey, there's a lot less people playing, and no one's talking about this anymore, and you know, so on.
I honestly think that just comes down to the pools. I don't really think it has anything to do with the actual like numbers or like the elo system. It comes down to like these maps are just like eventually everyone knows them. You know, like there's no like it just comes down to a consistency check, which I mean like if you're playing Soccer or Mirage over and over again.
It's kind of always going to be like that. I don't think you could have a system that is not like that.
Oh, yeah, I'm not saying that you could, but
I think you could.
That's the root problem.
I think you definitely could. Where, okay, so I guess as like one draft idea, you have like maybe 10 different map pools, and then like instead of like the map pools entirely getting cycled out, like every now and then you have like specific maps in each pool cycled out like very, very regularly. So like let's say the map pool is like 20 maps. So over the course of like, okay, maybe like 3 or 4 maps from like each pool get replaced per day or something like that, or maybe like every other day or something like that. But like parts of the pool get replaced very, very regularly rather than the entire pool staying for a long time and then getting replaced all at once. So that is something to, I guess, sort of consider as like one way that it could be sustainable. Actually, do you think that would be more sustainable as a sort of?
I think it could be sustainable, but you would have to recruit. First of all, you'd have to recruit people who are like incredibly knowledgeable in the tournament scene and willing to curate pools like every week or every 2 weeks or something like that, which in and of itself might be a bit of a challenge. But I also think that the problem with viewing tournaments as a like as like the main ranking system is that like the vast majority, like 99.99% of the community, doesn't play tournaments at all, and would like it would just be such a huge radical change that I feel like it might kill the game instantly.
Well, okay, I think one thing that like affects things like matchmaking popularity and it dying down, things like that, is I think like official integration and discoverability is probably the main reason why it doesn't stay afloat. And I don't know, that's obviously just my take on it, but yeah, I think if there was an officially integrated system, then it would be a lot more sustainable. And also regarding like map, like content, like being like having content at your disposal, I think some sort of collaboration with featured artists slash mappers guild obviously would make it a lot more sustainable also. So yes.
I mean, yeah, I mean, I think there's definitely that's a valid point, but I don't know if it could be. I don't think it could replace PP as like the main ranking system, because I think, like I said, most of the casual players would just like are not into that. Most people don't play Osu for like, I don't know. I don't think they're playing Osu competitively. You know, I don't view this as a competitive game at the core.
Yeah, I guess. Okay, I don't think it should like fully replace the PP system because obviously, like there is the majority of the market, or I guess like player base in this game is relatively casual, but I think having both leaderboards like live side by side would actually be ideal because
I agree.
There's so much like staleness, I guess. Like the top level of gameplay, like in the rankings, is actually very, very stale. So yeah, just my take. Any other thoughts on that?
So I don't think it could ever work, regardless of if it's replacing anything. I don't think it could officially integrate something like that, because most of the time, or like, it's almost guaranteed to be 1v1, and there are skill sets that are not necessarily valued in 1v1. Like, there are specialist players that aren't really going to get a chance to participate to the level that they should. Because if it's like, let's say it's a widespread thing where it's actually a major thing that like displays on your profile, like your 1v1 elo or whatever, yeah, basically all of the specialist players are going to become D rankers.
What if you had like solo queue, like other competitive games, like where it's like teams of 4 or something like that, but then like you queue up solo and get matched in a team? That would be insane. In a hypothetical scenario where that was actually like integrated in like the best way possible, with like all major flaws that you could think of like fixed, does that seem appealing?
I think as a dream, this is a very cool idea, but I just can't imagine any practical way that it could get implemented.
Yeah,
like I would love it also to be tournament based, but like, you know, like that you're talking to tournament players. Like there's no way I think a lot of us would prefer like the current PP meta over whatever, or over like a tournament based system.
No, yeah.
It's just gonna be very straightforward. Been around for a very long time. Seen many different 1v1s and solo queue tournaments and projects. None of them last. It stays the same. Efforts have been made. No one thought of a better idea. It's likely never happening. At least not until laser.
Yeah, I think even with like, what is the laser integration? I haven't actually heard about that.
I mean, there is none yet, but Pepe talks about it a lot that there will be. So
he talks about clans too, bro. Like, it's just not happening.
God, clans!
Dude, you remember that?
Clans.
Of course, I remember that
so much.
Yeah, it's just not happening. Like, there's no way it's gonna happen.
Yeah, we can dream. One day, maybe 2027.
Let's go.
But yeah, I would enjoy it. I just can't imagine the undertaking it would be to balance.
Yeah, I think that's pretty much it. Oh yeah, okay, so clans, basically it was something teased in like 2018 or something, like early 2018.
Way before that, I think.
Yeah, it was before that.
Oh,
really?
really?
2016.
Yeah.
Wait, what? Okay, well, yeah, it was something teased to be implemented into like the new website or something, or like the new the future of Osu, where you would be able to like have a team. I think like if anyone knows like the whole like League of Legends team thing, I think that used to be a thing also, where you could like be in a team like on your account or something. So, and there would be like a team's leaderboard or something like that, and it would like show up next to your name, stuff like that. But
I wish someone like at the very least made a separate website to like sort of like Halo's Pick'em thing, where it could like integrate with the actual website, and then you could just like it doesn't even need to be built into the game. I don't think. I just think having a system like that would be cool.
right. But
yeah, no one has taken the time,
So
which is
the
understandable.
the page is deleted. I literally even remember like the URL for there was a Teams like beta page once, just to like showcase.
Wait, really?
Yeah, I think I still remember the link, but it says it doesn't exist. So
that's lame.
That's so sad.
Well, yes, I think that pretty much wraps up this discussion, though. I think since we were here, I just wanted a like casual brainstorm impromptu of your thoughts on those kinds of systems. But yeah, any final thoughts on tournament strategy as a whole as we wrap up?
I mean, I would just say like make sure to prepare yourself, like know who you are as a player before trying to like seriously strategize anything. Sort of like what I was saying at the end of my normal interview.
Right. Actually, one thing I want to shout out is like if you want to start playing tournaments, then I think you just start playing them. Like there's a listing that you can just find on the forums, and just find something for your rank range and just sign up. So
yeah, there was a question in the spreadsheet about like I can't find 4-digit tournaments. You're probably looking at the actual. You're probably going to the wrong thing, which is the tournament button on the OSU forum
oh,
or on
right,
the
on the
OSU
OSU
website.
page.
You need to go to you need to go to forums, and then there's a tournament subsection, which is where most of the actual tournaments are listed.
Yes, that's correct. But
yeah, it's in the community, not on the official page, because the official page only is like OWC and like art contests essentially.
Literally type OSU Forum 55 in Google and click the link.
Yes. The forum number is 55, so you guys can just Google that. But
I'll just post it too.
Yeah, I think that's pretty much it. Thanks, guys, for joining. Those of you listening live on Discord, you guys are awesome. And if you're listening through YouTube or Spotify, if you want to get directly involved in these interviews, best thing you can do is join the OSU University Discord server, because that is where pretty much everything happens. And if you want to support the content, also, best thing you can do is just share it around with anyone you think might appreciate it. But yeah, that's going to do it today. Thanks for Azer, Apraxia, and Will for joining me today. And we will see you guys next time.